What's up, everyone? Welcome to the week recap show. Drinking a little tequila for this episode. It's summertime, people. It's getting warmer outside. I'm enjoying that. Are you enjoying that? Because I'm getting pumped up about it. I'm ready for warm weather. I'm ready to get outside and enjoy some things where I live, especially the mountains and stuff like that. This weekend was a little nuts. As always in the news, there's always so much to talk about, especially when the media is doing their best to cover up everything that's going on in this administration. The CBS interview that was cut up and spliced up for Ron DeSantis and to make him look bad is just another indication of how the media does their best to create a narrative. And even if they will just lie straight to your face, an institution such as 60 Minutes, I remember my grandparents' generation loving 60 Minutes. And so even they don't care if their name goes to shame or that makes them look bad. They're just assuming their people that watch the program anyways don't do their best to look up facts and don't do fact checks, or if they issue a apology for lying about stuff, they just assume their listeners don't watch that or look out for that. And I was really, honestly, that was such a huge story that was there, and it kind of swept under the rug, but it's huge. I mean, a news agency splicing up an interview with a politician to make him look bad in order for them to continue their narrative of how bad Florida is doing or how sketchy Ron DeSantis was, to encouraging publics to give out vaccines instead of seeing the obvious case was it's a good thing a huge national grocery store is able to give out vaccines for people. I thought you guys were about vaccines. Anytime a Republican looks good in this COVID-19 pandemic, they freak out and they don't know what to do because they don't want to be proven wrong. Like the whole video of what NBC calls a COVID conundrum of how the lockdown measures in New York and Michigan and just the New England regions have actually produced higher rates of COVID than the ones that are opened up fully and not even requiring face mandate, masked up people. So they're just calling it a conundrum, and they think that it's only a matter of time before this huge spike happens, and yet it hasn't happened, and the days keep going numbered, and they're confused. Because this is what happens when you believe something so much that even when evidence is presented for you, you deny it because your faith is in this being the answer rather than looking at the science, the facts, the data that comes out. It's a religion. To say otherwise is a lie, because if you're presented with facts and then you just say, I don't believe in them because my faith is in Fauci, my faith is in this institution, my faith is in this news agency, to say it's not a faith or a religion or a cult or whatever you want to call it, to say it's not faith-based is a lie, because when evidence contradicts what you say, but you say it anyways, you're creating a narrative, you're creating a religion, you're creating a way to live. I work with people who are so concerned about the day that we don't require masks anymore. They're just like freaked out by it. And it's just such a weird phenomenon that people have just accepted as like, no, this is how we're going to live the rest of our lives, masked up and not looking at each other in the face and staying locked down and not seeing your grandparents and not having, going to major events, concerts. And people are just okay with that. Except for people like me who don't want to wear a mask anymore, who like going to the gym, who likes going to sporting events, likes going and being outdoors, likes cool, fun activities outdoors and major groups and stuff like that. I like interacting with people. It's the introverts that are ruining everything. And just the people believing in the hype. And the Major League Baseball, that was such a weird story that happened this week. Just more and more corporations deciding that it's time to make a stand politically. Doesn't make sense to me, economically or financially as a company, to say that we're going to stand for something. You should just stand by your product. You should stand by what your Delta. You should stand by, we have the cleanest airplanes and our pilots are fantastic, and that should be your stance. And then people will be like, yeah, that, because I'm going to the airport to fly. I'm not going to have a political argument with somebody or be told what you believe politically. But now it's it's the norm. It's the norm to have corporations come out and say these things because they don't care. You know, to say they care about free market and companies coming out and maybe potentially taking them out because they're better, they don't like that. They like having political stance and, you know, giving money towards their candidates, wink, wink, maybe. I don't know. How else do politicians make money? How else does Joe Biden go from being poor to a multi-millionaire? Who knows? Bernie Sanders writes a book and becomes one. So Major League Baseball, Patagonia, Spirit, Delta, United Airlines. It's just exhausting. I don't care anymore. I don't want to. I am one of the few conservatives I interact with that don't want to have to like look around to find out if each company holds my values. I just want to go to whatever company is doing the best. And I feel like, or if treating their workers is like a big part of me, then I will go to a company that feels like they treat their coworkers well, or like they believe in their products, or they, you know, are like helping out poor countries in other regions. That's great. If you want to help that like, I want to go to a company based on like what they do, not what they say. And why is that such like a huge idea? Like, as the culture begins to grow and we begin to, as America, as an old institution, we want to divide up more than ever. And we want to, hey, I do patriot this, or I'm conservative this. And then same with liberals. They're like, hey, does this support LGBTQ values? If not, then I don't want to shop there. And I don't see it going well. I don't see this being a good thing. I don't like finding out my I don't want to have to find out my company's values before I go. I just want to know if what I'm buying is worth buying. Not, is it worth buying? Also, what do they believe politically? Just such a silly and childish ideology for the way in which we live our lives now. Biden issued his gun control, which I've read numerous reports of how it's just, you know, a bunch of hoopla and it's nothing's going to actually happen. But it's, you know, it's a step of him pandering to his progressives, saying, I am available to do this stuff. I want to do this stuff. And the things he was saying in the press conference makes me feel like he's never bought a gun in his entire life. And I feel like the people that are for the things that he is proposing have also never bought a gun in their entire life. Like the thing about, you know, trade show loopholes. Trade shows, you still have to get a background check. If I have a gun and I want to sell my gun to my mom, that is the issue, the loophole that people are talking about. Is that like that big of a deal? I know if I sell it to a relative, I know that they're probably not a criminal. I know what they're doing. I wouldn't, if my mom was drugged out like Hunter Biden, I wouldn't sell her a gun and then I get in trouble for that crap. That stuff doesn't happen in real life. These people that think that like all these people are like buying these guns online, and plus you buy a gun online. I've bought guns online. What you do is you buy a gun online and then they ship it to an FFL dealer. What's an FFF dealer? A gun store. And then you go to the gun store and then you sign paperwork, aka you fill out a background check. You don't lie on that background check like Hunter Biden did, but you fill out the background check, then you wait until the background check's done. Sometimes it takes a couple of hours, sometimes it takes multiple days, depending on you or how slow the system is, or how many people are buying guns at the time, how many background checks are being run at the time. So these things were just lies, but people believe them. My liberal friends believe this crap. They believe that you can just go online and purchase a firearm and then it gets sent straight to your home. And you, they just don't get it because, and that's okay because they don't know the world. They don't know the world of guns. I barely know the world of guns. I'm not going to be the one that's going to break down the differences between blah, blah, blah. Have you ever heard of this gun? I'm just not that person. I know how to break down a gun and clean it. I know how to purchase a firearm. I know how to shoot a firearm. I know, I know the basics. I don't have this extensive knowledge. But this is what happens when politicians who don't know the world of guns, they don't know the world in which they're legislating, just pandering to their voters. And their voters don't even know. I think a lot of these major inner city kids have never bought a gun, have never shot a gun. They don't understand. They just see it as dangerous. It feels dangerous, therefore you can't have it. It's like a mom yelling at her child, "Put that helmet on!" It's dangerous. Put that helmet on, it'll save your life. And so all these people, and I posted things about Joe Biden's speech, and I got all these comments of like these kids saying things like, "This is going to help prevent school shootings," and none of the things he's proposing it will do that, and nothing he proposes will do that. Let's just be real about that. When criminals want to become a criminal, when criminals want to act, they will do things that are against the law in order to, fill out their destiny, what they want to accomplish. That's why when Lori Lightfoot, Chicago mayor, says things like, we need to stop these assault weapons, these guns that are made for war out of our Chicago neighborhoods, when majority of the crimes committed are with handguns, whether illegally purchased but illegally attained and then illegally brought over in Chicago, and they're probably illegally carrying. So it's these gun-free zones that have the biggest issue with guns. Chicago, New York, D.C., all these major cities, L.A., you can't think logically about this stuff or else you'll go absolutely insane. But also, Joe Biden saying things like that this is not against your Second Amendment rights when it clearly is. Saying how many rounds can be in a gun is against the rights. Because it'll eventually go to them just saying, what do you need more than 2 rounds for? You only need 1 shot to kill someone that's intruding in your home. And again, you've never shot before then. It's hard to hit the target. It's not that easy. It's easy when they're 5 feet away, but if they're more than 5 to 10 feet, sometimes it's difficult. And in the moment, you might miss. And so I've seen the statistics of how many shots cops fire at people, criminals, and what's the average of times they've missed. It's a lot. And so it's not the easiest thing to shoot and hit something. That's why when you shoot, you want to make sure you're ready to shoot to kill, because you don't want to just be firing shots everywhere. You don't want to just be lackadaisically just shooting, because you might end up hitting somebody that's not supposed to be hit, and that's a big deal. So there was just so much in the press conference that he said that the press has his back, except for a few people. One of the I forget his name. He called out. He went to Jen Psaki. I call her Pansky, even though I know it's Psaki because she has a P in the front of her name. P for poop. But he said, "Does Joe Biden not know that you need a background check at a gun show?" And she doubled down because she doesn't even know. These people don't know. Joe Biden apparently has a shotgun. I bet it's hand down from his family, and he's never shot it once. That's my guess. I'm not going to speculate, but something tells me that he is not a gun enthusiast. And I've seen more commentators talk about how this is more about a power grab, and of course it is. We've seen how liberal leftists this past year have been all about power. They like the power. They like the spotlight. Andrew Cuomo. Governor Cuomo is still doing his thing, even though all the sexual allegations somehow have just gone away. Oops. I hope you just forget about that. Also, killing tens of thousands of grandmothers, no big deal. But it's all about power hungry, and it's about being in the spotlight. It's about having your moment and having your 4 years of fame, if you will, instead of 10 minutes. But that's why a lot of these governors will see the science of COVID-19 and they'll just deny it and continue the route they're taking because they like the power. They like these executive orders. This whole executive orders and this wartime thought is very new to them, and they like it. And once government takes power, they don't want to relinquish it because they like it. It feels good. It feels good to be in control of people. You feel like you're helping people, and it's always in the name of help. It's always in the name of we're here to help. And they're not here to help you. They're here to make themselves look good and hope that you reelect them, because they'll do whatever it takes for you to continue to reelect them, because they want to be public servants and be multimillionaires just like Joe Biden and AOC in due time. Prince Philip died, and immediately everyone online that hated him talked about how racist he was, and all this other allegations. And we can't have in this society time of reflection and just thinking positively of people. If people were to look at your life and my life, there are times in my life where I screwed up royally. I effed up. And if people only resonated and thought of those times as a time to remember, then my life sucks. But you can't do that with real people. You can't do that in the world we are today, in the world, just any time, any kind of world. That's not okay to do for people. You need to think of the good times outweighing the bad, especially when death, because their life is over. They're not there to hurt anyone. I get that there's like evil people like Hitler. I'm not going to remember the good times he had, but to say like all these allegations that are untrue or maybe are true, it's just not the time. And also, what's the point? People dance in the grave. Just like when Rush Limbaugh died, people were like laughing and happy. And just like, I know you didn't agree with him and you didn't like a lot of things he said, but he touched a lot of people's lives, and especially people I work with, drug addicts. They like Rush Limbaugh, not necessarily for his political views, but they know that he got addicted to opioids and overcame that. And that's like a story that's encouraging to them. So there's a lot of positive in his life, despite if you disagree with his politics. And so my encouragement to you is to look at people's lives, not necessarily focusing on the negative aspects of who they are as a person or what things they've done, but to try to look at the redeeming qualities of the person, because not everyone is perfect, except for me. I am so perfect. But nobody's perfect. And so I screw up, you screw up, and if people were to only focus on those things and constantly bring up those things, then we're never growing, we're never learning. And I'm just imagining like all these people that are just like pulling up old tweets from these 13-year-old kids, like saying the N-word or just being racist, or like saying the N-word in a rap song. They're not like looking at somebody and it's just... There has to be a time where people can learn, and the only way that'll change this culture of cancel culture and all that stuff is if you band together with me and fight against that crap, because it is crap. It smells like crap, probably tastes like crap, but it is crap, and it's just not a healthy thing for a society that wants to continue to grow and learn from each other. To be about canceling a person based on something they did at one point in their life. That doesn't necessarily hurt anyone, especially microaggressions. That's such bullcrap. Anyways, Russia and Ukraine are heating up. I think this is something to continue to watch, is Russia and Ukraine as they continue to bulk their arms up, and also China and Taiwan is going on, and we're more focused on racists and these white supremacists that are taking over the country daily. And January 6th was the worst thing since Pearl Harbor. Like, our politicians are focused on that while the world is burning, basically. And as our border is just wide open and people are just crossing, as if there's no implications, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, everything I see from liberals is that they feel like their actions have zero consequences, that their policies have zero implications or consequences on your life, and it's all good. It's not bad. We're progressing. We're moving forward. That there's no negative thoughts or negative things that come from your policies, like gun control. There's nothing negative that could possibly come from that. Free healthcare for all. There's nothing negative that could come from that, even though statistically and mathematically that's not true. So as I continue to learn and grow with you and through politics and this season of life we're in with Biden, Harris, Kamala Biden administration, let's just keep growing together. And if you haven't checked out my YouTube page of me doing little reaction videos from press conferences in my tinfoil hat, you should check it out. It's on YouTube, Derek O'Shea Show. I have some snippets on Instagram. Check it out. But we live in a crazy world, but I just want you to know you're not alone, and we'll do this life together, because it's better. My encouragement to you too is that find someone, a friend, a lover, a significant person, but mainly a friend that you can do life with, you can enjoy life with, and make you not feel so crazy. Maybe that believes some of the things you believe, but also encourages you to learn in other ways, because that's the only way we will survive and enjoy this life is through community and not through being alone like our government officials want us to be. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Check out my other episodes coming out. But I appreciate you guys so much. I honestly do. Those of you that watch this, are still watching this, or listening to this, are my ride or die people, my people that follow me from the 1 Minute News and to this, and are not afraid to get into conversation and not afraid to get into deep thoughts. And again, these episodes, my week recaps, is just off the cuff. This is just me talking through my butt. This is just me talking and thinking about all the things I've talked about all week long, and I just need that release, like this podcast can give. And I hope it gives you that you don't feel alone in this, and that I am with you, and I'm not some crazy, super cool person who has a multi-million-dollar news agency. I'm just like you, and I hope you appreciate that I take time out of my day, and you take time out of your day to listen to me. So I just thank you for sharing this moment with me. Have a fantastic day, and to the next episode of the Derek O'Shea Show, I'll see you again.